One here. Ooh, actually, already made a mistake. How about that? This is my October review. um, just for continuity's sake. October review. There we go. Um, so this is what will be covered in this video. How much I was able to invest this month. Quick dashboard overview. Look at the portfolio, see how it's performing over the month, what I invested in, and then we'll take a quick look at what my annual goals were, how I was able to potentially achieve them, or where I am with them, my updates on those goals, and my investment graphs. And then finally, we'll look at the dividend income for the month of October. So first things first, look down here. We'll go to my monthly income expense investment page, IEI. And here was the month of October. So overall, this month I was able to invest just under $12,000. Comes out to roughly 78% of my total income for the month. Obviously, part of that is investing my savings. When you look at what my income was for the month and my expenses, obviously that number is bigger than my remaining balance. So I'm still taking from sort of my savings, quote unquote, but I'm fine with that. I have a fair amount saved. I want to just kind of stay roughly where I'm at, maybe invest a little bit more right now and kind of go from there. So this month I didn't receive any of my expenses like I typically do. I should be receiving that this week. Right now I'm recording on Monday, November 3rd, but I should start to get some of those expenses paid moving forward, probably by the end of this week. My dividend income for the month, or my interest from my SPACs money market fund, was $283, and my dividend from the Arrived app was $1.97. So for those that may have seen Arrived, I have roughly like $500 in this account in a few properties, and then a private interest sort of option, and that's how much I'm getting per month, roughly about 197, 173. So yeah, it's just under like $2. So virtually I'm getting $2 per $500 I have invested in that. I don't know if that's really worth it right now. In reality, I probably should have just stuck with what I've been doing and not invested in that, but good learning experience. I'll just kind of leave the money in there for now, maybe change it in the future. Yeah, when we look at my investments for the month, 401k, I actually just maxed it out. So I will no longer be investing in that pretty much. I think I have like $50 left, $100 maybe. So probably just do that in this first paycheck coming up this month. And then the rest, I guess I'll be investing a few extra $1,000 probably into my brokerage account, since that's really my only other option. My brokerage account, I invested a little over $8,000. Acorns, $40. My HSA was $438. Month of October had 3 paychecks compared to the typical 2. So that's why some of this stuff has been a little bit increased, like the HSA, 401k, and the amount I brought in salary. It was a good month as well for like sales. That's the great thing about commission. So was able to kind of increase this by having a few things go in my favor for the month. From there, we can go check out the dashboard. So here is how my account has sort of played out over the month of October. Still prior to the market opening, actually, on November 3rd. This is being recorded at 7:30. So, yeah, markets haven't opened yet in where I'm from. So I'm at 68,000, just under 69,000. My portfolio gain is 14%. It was up near 16.5, but this month has been kind of up and down, so back down towards that 14% total portfolio gain. Obviously, I've been able to invest a fair amount, so my estimated yearly dividend income has increased just over $1,300. portfolio dividend yield 2.23, still at the consistent 20 holdings. And when you look at sort of my portfolio breakdown, I've really just been consistently investing into FXAIX, SCHD, and DGRO. Those are really the major positions in this account. I have my 401ks, my Roth IRA, which I can't invest in right now. So I have growth in those positions right now. This brokerage account I really want to use for both growth but also just dividend income in general. Hopefully just be able to hold all these positions and live off some of that dividend income while selling some of it off, some of those growth aspects in the future, to hopefully allow me to retire early before I actually have to get into my 401ks and all of that. So right now, $83,000 in that money market fund on Fidelity. This is how much interest I've made so far since I started really putting all this money in June. My emergency fund is now virtually equivalent, so I may end up sending some of this money over into that SPAX account. Here are my 401ks, 110,000. This was what the values were on Friday. 71,000, 19,500, 2,000, 2,100. Total investments, I'm at $272,000, $165,000 in cash, so about 38% in cash for a total of $437,000. So feel pretty good about that. Obviously, this month I've seen some of my positions turn red, both like SCHD, Target, and Equifax. Obviously, I still have Water Company, CSGP, and Upstart all in that negative position still, which these three will probably stay in that. I'm going to sell out. I just haven't. I say that every single month. It will happen. just figuring out exactly what I want to do. Diving into the portfolio. So this month, I primarily just invested in DGRO, SCHD, a little bit into FXAIX, and a little bit into the Fidelity Bitcoin ETF. I feel like it's worth it for me personally to invest a little bit every month into Bitcoin. It kind of has that like crypto version of gold, right? Sort of the foundation of cryptocurrency, so might as well invest. I have a really long time horizon. I can deal with fluctuations. Might as well just put like a few dollars into this every month and see what happens. I don't know a lot about cryptocurrency, so I just feel like it's worth doing a little bit and focusing more on what I do kind of understand a little bit better. But yeah, SCHD has grown a fair amount. I'm at $16,000. And the market value is 16.4. So obviously in this accumulation phase, and SCHD has not done well this year, especially since I've been invested in it. But it's a great time to just accumulate shares, and I believe in what this ETF can do. So over time, it's just right now not the correct market for SCHD to really grow, but I believe that in the future it will continue to grow. Obviously, it gets rebalanced every year, and so I have faith that this will turn around, and it's great for me. Just accumulate while the market isn't really interested in it. DGRO, same idea. This is up about 3%, just dollar cost averaging into it. There have just been some pretty good opportunities, like with SCHD, it went down to like 26.50 something. So I invested like an additional $1,000 into it. DGRO, I just continue to kind of dollar cost average in. So those are really the three main positions that I invested in, and with a little bit into Bitcoin, I think just one share. And then UNH still holding solid, pretty good pickup there, and Equifax is down. Still think that this is going to be a fine position. It's going through a little downturn. That's all right. I anticipate it kind of turning around. I may end up investing a little bit more into this just to bring that cost basis down a little bit. But still kind of deciding maybe I'll do that. I really have found that, peace of mind wise, just investing into mutual funds and ETFs has been easier, rather than just kind of hoping and praying that I hit the right stock. in single business. You never know what's going to happen with the business. You see, like, the new CEO was at Target, came from within the ranks of Target, and the market did not like that. And you saw it jump down in value when originally I was in the green for this. But, things like that, the market will kind of react. And so with a single stock, you never know what could happen. Whereas with ETFs, if you believe in how they're kind of structured, kind of more peace of mind and just continue investing in it, dollar cost averaging in, let the cards play as they're dealt, From there, where else am I going? Annual goals update. So overall, I've hit now and completed all of my annual goals for 2025. I originally kind of planned in July, I believe. Hey, let's try to invest $30,000 by the end of the year. I surpassed that. I'm at 35,000, just under 36,000. I anticipate I'll be around the $45,000 mark by the end of the year. I don't think I'm going to be getting up to 50,000. But feel pretty good. I'll just continue to track that and have a better understanding of what type of goals I want to create for myself next year. I think it's always good to have some goals to kind of keep you honest and keep you on target and keep you focused on what you need to complete on a yearly basis or a quarterly basis, anything like that. Goal number 2 was to invest $12,000 into both SCHD and DGRO. I was able to complete both of those. SCHD I did last month. DGRO I was able to pass $12,000 this month. So happy about that. Completed both of those goals, and then obviously hit $250,000 in total investments by end of year. I was able to get that. So did that a few months ago. Now I'll just continue to invest. We'll see where I end up. My goals for my 30s haven't changed. Hit $500,000 in investments, receive $1,000 in dividends in a single month. I think that'll just be kind of a fun one to try to hit. Maybe that'll happen, later in my 30s. We'll see. Right now I am just 30 years old, so hopefully that'll change in the future, and I'll be able to hit $1,000 in a single month. My average personal monthly expenses have been dropping pretty considerably. I'm trying to just focus more on what I'm spending my money on, what is really worth spending my money on. I want to be able to go out and do fun things, but at the same time, I need to make sure that I'm not just like throwing money off side of a cliff, and really care about what I'm spending my money on. So in September, I moved home for a quick little bit of time. I have been searching for a house, and I didn't want to lock myself into a 12-month lease while I'm going through this kind of deep dive on buying my first property. So I've been fortunate and lucky enough to be able to save some money on rent. So that's why my expenses have been really dropping. Just felt like it was the right time to move home. I was able to get my parents' blessing to do that right now, while I continue looking every week for potentially a house. So I know I have a big expense coming up in the near future with interest rates and obviously just the cost of housing in my area, my region of the United States. So just trying to save some money, continue investing like I have been, and limit my expenses. My average brokerage investments per month. So in the last 3 months, it's $7,000. When you look on a last 2 months basis, it was $8,400. This one, obviously, I don't have anything necessarily in November yet, so we'll see. But I'm going to continue to track this year over year, just to see how things change. Keeps you honest, keeps you investing even during downturns, just continuing to invest. I feel like I started investing back in like 2020-ish, and definitely during 2022 when there was a downturn in the market, I kind of lost focus on investing. So that's why I think, being able to automate those things. I was still investing in 401ks and all that, but I wasn't really focused on this brokerage account that I had originally started. So I think this will be a great way to keep me focused on that, whether I automate some positions, but just continuing to update this on a monthly basis. I think, in those downturns, I'll be more focused, and it won't kind of be put on the back burner, and I'll be paying attention to all this. So investment graphs. So this has been my change month over month in this dividend growth portfolio. And so obviously this difference is really just the amount that I invested in the month of October. So it was a pretty flat month for my portfolio in general, which is fine. I understand that's going to happen. You can see the slope is a little bit flatter compared to some of these other months where I had some growth and a fair amount of invested, which totally fine. I'm still very much in that accumulation phase, continue growing. I'm excited to get up towards that 80,000 mark, hit 100,000 into this portfolio. I think that'll be a really cool milestone. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be something that I'm really looking forward to hitting, ideally in that first quarter of 2026 through January, March. If I continue on the path that I've been going and the trajectory, I should be able to hit that, but just got to stay consistent and continue investing. When you look at my total investments over time, it's on average, I think when you kind of look at this ballparking, it's going up around 15, 16,000 per month on average. So there's a chance I surpass that $300,000 in total investment by the end of the year, which would be really cool. By 30, that most, articles say you want to have 1 times your annual salary by the age of 30 in total investments. I always find that one a little complicated, so I'm curious anyone else's thoughts, but my salary's changed a fair amount over the course of this decade. I started at $30,000 out of college, and so clearly I wasn't investing at all at that point. And then get a job change and it was 50,000, and then I got up to 65,000, 85,000, surpassed 100,000, and continued kind of building my salary. So I feel like you kind of have to take an average of all of that rather than now I'm 30 and I'm making roughly 185,000 to 200,000 right now this year. Like, great, I need to have that much invested, but in reality I wasn't making that at 22, 23 or 24. So like averaging all that out, I think, is really the key. So I'd assume it'd be right around like I should have about $125,000 invested, 150 maybe, and I'm double that, or I may double that by the time this year ends, which would be really cool. Feel like that sets me up for success and can kind of make my life easier as I go into this next stage of life. If I have kids or have a house and all that, and my expenses raise, and I can't necessarily invest like I have been investing, I think I'll have a little bit more peace of mind knowing that I've already accumulated so much into my investments that I can kind of let it work for me even more so than the money that I continue to input in. So that's sort of my mindset here. And then my total dividends per year, this will obviously only be updated about once a year. I may add another graph or two. If anyone has some suggestions, feel free to throw those in below. But right now I've made just over $500 in total dividends for the year. This will be fun to look at year over year to see sort of how my total dividends paid to me per year has changed over time. I know, like, obviously 505, it'll go up more by the end of the year, but right now, if you look at my estimates for next year, yearly dividend income is $1,000 more virtually, or I guess like 800, but continue investing, and I'm excited to see how this graph changes over time. And then finally, my October dividend. So when you look at the dividend calendar, it was a slow month, I guess, for dividends. Really only have 2 positions that pay in October. Usually Gush also pays in October. It was a weird change. Then, it came to second month after I got given my previous dividend. So not sure why it shifted on the month that it was paid. But for this month, I just had FXAIX, my mutual fund through Fidelity for the S&P, and my Coca-Cola position. And you can see it's great seeing how this is just changing. I haven't reinvested anything besides the dividends. So there's just kind of the change in dividends over time with reinvesting in that position. If if they increase their dividends percentage per like each quarter or whatever, like that, anything like that. So this is how that position's changed. FXAIX, obviously I'm continuing to invest in this position. So yeah, that's made $51 for the month in dividends, $283 in interest in that money market fund. And so right there, my highest dividend month is still September. I anticipate December will be even higher, or it might not, because this particular FBGRX, the capital gain that I was received. But I'm excited to see how SCHD changes. There have been a lot of companies within SCHD that have grown their dividend that will pay out higher in the month of December. But I've also just continued to invest into that position. So excited to see how that shifts and changes going into December. Overall, my average dividends per month, about $42, which has been nice. I'll keep track of that. My dividend history page. This will be where I put my yearly dividend calendar. So right now, obviously, it's just 2025. Make little notes about like what's going on, why I had certain things happen. So that way, as the years go by, I can track how this has changed within each position. And then I'll be able to kind of compare my average dividends per month, my highest dividend month, all that. So that's everything for this video. Let me know what you guys think, how you think the market's going to play out over the next couple months. I feel like there's just even more talk of a bubble and, a downturn in the market and, a correction coming, looming in the distance. So we'll see what happens. But for me, it's just continue to buy into certain positions, into these ETFs like SCHD, DGRO, FXAIX, and Bitcoin, and kind of go from there. Not really worth changing anything up. Just kind of keep it simple. Probably not investing into single stocks for the remainder of the year. Maybe into Equifax. Maybe I'll dollar cost average this down a little bit, change my cost basis. But overall, just focus on DGRO, SCHD, FXAIX, and the Bitcoin ETF. So yeah, that's everything for the month of October. And yeah, talk to you guys soon. See ya.